Hi, I'm Juliet. This is Loki. We are outside the National Trust car park at Clent Hills because I did not realise that there is still lumps of snow and ice and slush up here, and the car park's closed and it's currently wet and miserable. But we are off for a walk over the Clent Hills, a National Trust route. It says it will be about 20 minutes. I think it will be a bit longer, partly because we can't get in the car park, and also I need to stop and do some filming for another video on the way, but I'm guessing about 20 minutes, half an hour, and you're welcome to come along. Hello, Loki. Good boy.
Clent Hills is an area of the Worcestershire countryside that is cared for by the National Trust. Loki and I were heading up Clent Hill itself, but the range includes 5 hills, the biggest of which is Walton Hill, and it's connected to the Loki Hills in Birmingham, separated by the valley of St Kenelm's Pass. We had intended to follow the Clent Hills short walk recommended by the National Trust and finish with a coffee in the cafe, but since both the National Trust car park and the cafe were closed due to the snow, we had to improvise a bit.
Oh, this is steep. Oh dear. Oh, okay. So that is the car park down there, where that kind of layer of snow is. We're up above it. Hopefully we can get round and rejoin the route. I'm pretty sure, having walked along here before, that the route we are supposed to be following is down there. So we are currently more or less on the right route. We're just above it. But that may mean that some climbing we otherwise would have done later, we've already done at the beginning. So that's quite nice, really.
As it turned out, as luck would have it, I was right. Once we'd done that first steep bit of a climb, Loki and I were able to walk along a more or less flat-ish area until we reached the main kind of point of interest on this walk, which is the folly known as the 4 Stones.
Well, we have now reached what is supposed to be point of interest 2 in stage 2 of the walk, but because we couldn't do the proper route, is actually the first thing we've come across, which is the 4 Stones. These are not prehistoric, I'm afraid. They were put up in the 1770s on the orders of Lord Lyttelton, who wanted them as a folly. A folly is a fake ancient thing that English lords and aristocracy liked to put in their gardens in the 18th and 19th centuries. Loki! Sorry. Tough dog. And these are one of those. So they date the 18th century. But I think they're also another testament to the ongoing interest in stone circles, the ongoing importance of stone circles, ongoing desire for stone circles in parts of Britain all over. Yes, they're kind of fake. Like they're definitely not ancient. They're just there to be a rich man's decoration. But that doesn't mean they're not interesting.
George Lyttelton, the first Baron Lyttelton, was a statesman from nearby Hagley who had the nearby stately home Hagley Hall built in the early 18th century. He filled the grounds with follies, including a Hagley obelisk, a temple of Theseus, and a fake medieval castle ruin. The 4 Stones are supposed to resemble a Druid temple. Lyttelton would have presumed, like others in the 18th century, that Stonehenge was built by Druids. In fact, the Druids turned up more than 1,000 years after the main circle at Stonehenge was constructed. The stones are dedicated to Ossian, an anglicisation of Washeen, a legendary Irish bard.
So this was meant to be stage 2 on the walk. This was meant to be point of interest 2. Then stage 3, you go that way, I think. Or possibly stage 3 takes you back the way we just came. I think what I might do is see if we can go back to point of interest 1, which I think is just there. And then what we might have to do is just go back the way we came, just in case anything else is closed. Let's have a think. Right, I am reasonably confident that this is indeed point 1 on the walk we were supposed to be doing. Bicknall Beacon. Bicknall Beacon on Clent Hill was such a good viewpoint that in 1588 it was used as part of a chain of bonfires sending warning of the Spanish Armada's arrival to the Midlands. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is. This was originally supposed to be the first point of interest on the walk, and now I just need to decide whether we're going to do the rest of the planned walk or just go back the way we came, which might be a safer option given the conditions and the fact the car park is closed. On we go then, Loki, up this way. Come on. Oh, it's looking like the weather might be turning again. Oh dear, mud everywhere.
Loki and I headed back up towards the Four Stones, but we took a very brief diversion to go and have a quick look at the nearby toposcope. A toposcope is a display, usually circular and engraved so as to be weather resistant, placed at a viewpoint, showing the points of the compass and the distance of various landmarks and well-known places from that spot. They're often put up by Rotary clubs like this one, or in memory of people who loved the area. They can look similar to trig points or triangulation pillars, which were used to help more accurately map Britain in the mid-20th century. Trig points were put up at specific locations, usually hilltops, recording their coordinates and point of elevation. But toposcopes are usually a bit more elaborate than trig points, and they are still being put up or restored, like this one, which was put up in 1929 and restored in 1997, whereas trig points are no longer needed, and the last one was put up in 1962.
Having looked at the route, I am fairly sure that the route it tells us we should take back is actually the route we took up because of the car park being closed. So I don't want to take Loki on a massively long walk. Loki! I am still being a bit careful with his hips. He does get tired quite easily. We need to work on his fitness a bit and make sure his hips are okay. So I don't want to do a massively long walk, and especially with the cafe and the toilets being closed. So we're just going to go back the way we came, back to the car.
There is a famous medieval legend attached to the woods around Clent Hills. The legend of St Kenelm appears in several sources from the 12th century onwards, including William of Malmesbury's History of the Kings of England and Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, but it supposedly took place several centuries earlier in the early 9th century. The story goes that the King of Mercia died and had named his 7-year-old son Kenelm or Kenelm as his successor. However, one of the king's adult daughters, named Gwendrida in the later sources, but based on a woman called Gwenfrith, conspired with Kenelm's tutor to have him murdered so she could reign instead. The night before the murder, Kenelm dreamed that he climbed a tall tree and could see all 4 quarters of the kingdom, and 3 of them bowed down to him, but the 4th chopped down the tree, and Kenelm turned into a white bird and flew away. When he woke and told his nurse, she told him it meant he was going to die. Chaucer says she tried to warn him of the danger, but he, being 7 years old, would not listen. The tutor, Ascobert, took Kenelm on a hunting trip up into the Clent Hills, and Kenelm, hot and tired, sat down to sleep. Ascobert started to dig a grave, but Kenelm woke up and told him it was not God's will that he would be killed in that place, but to take a small rod, and where they planted it, he would die. So they carried on walking in the hills till they came to a hawthorn, where Ascobert put the rod in the ground, and it suddenly sprang up into an ash tree, known as St Kenelm's Ash. Ascobert cut off Kenelm's head, and Kenelm's soul transformed into a dove and flew to Rome, where it dropped a scroll in front of the Pope, which, according to the Golden Legend by Jacopo de Varenne, read, "In Clent in Cowbridge, Kenelm, king born, lieth under a thorn, his head off shorn." So the Pope wrote to the Archbishop of Canterbury, and men were sent to recover the body, and a miraculous fountain sprang up where they excavated him, which became a healing shrine known as St Kenelm's Well in Romsley. Loki and I did not manage to identify St Kenelm's Ash, which is probably in a different part of the hills, but we did manage to slip and slide our way through the mud and back to the car.
The bins are all in the car park that's closed, so we have poo bags we're going to have to take home with us. Please ignore the state of my car. All right, Loki pup, I'll help you. Come on, muddy doggy. I gotcha. Oh no. Oh, my car. Oh dear. Oh well. Nope, no towel in here, just the picnic rug. There you go. Good boy. Well, here we are. Oh, glasses are steaming up. We made it back to the car. Oh God, I can't believe I forgot a towel. Yeah, trip to the car wash for me coming up, I think. Anyway, Loki seems very happy. His hips seem to have held out okay on all those hills, which is good. Shame that the cafe and toilets were closed. But we will head home from here. This was a taster video for my new Patreon, which I am setting up. So on this YouTube channel, I regularly do Historian and Corgi ghost tours. I say regularly, I'm a bit of a fair weather outdoor vlogger. So Historian and Corgi ghost tours usually run from kind of spring through to autumn. And I go around British, so far English, but I'm planning some Welsh ones, towns and villages sometimes, going around the haunted sites, because every town and village in this country has half a dozen of them. So that's something I do on this channel. I am setting up a Patreon where patrons will get one of these, a dog walking vlog once a month, and also a PDF with a short story in it, a ghost story. That's the plan at the moment. Obviously, if you're watching this in the far future, I may have changed to respond to demand or whatever, but that's the plan at the moment. So this is a taster video for the new Patreon. You will find the link in the description of this video. Next time I do one of these dog walking vlogs, it will be Patreon only. There's only going to be one tier for the moment, and you'll get both of those two things every month. So if you would like to see more of this type of video, more of me and Loki, hopefully I will get better at it as time goes on with the filming, and I'll remember the towel next time. If you'd like to see more of these, then head to my Patreon at the link in the description and sign up. Whether or not you fancy doing that, thank you so much for watching this video. Do check out Historian and Corgi Ghost Tours, which are pretty similar to this, but with more ghost stories interspersed between the walking. And until next time, bye!